What's up guys, it's Chase here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be listing a few points to consider when deciding between engineering and computer science as your major. Right off the bat I wanted to acknowledge my shameless bias towards engineering over non-engineering programs for your major, but with that out of the way, let's get into the video. In no particular order, here are 5 reasons that I believe engineering is better than computer science for your undergrad. Enjoy. Number 1. Engineering undergrads can easily qualify for the professional engineering license. While I speak from the Canadian perspective, engineering licensing is very common around the world, with the USA and Europe both having similar bodies and regulations of the industry. Now, you might be asking me, Chase, if I'm going into software or hardware, why should I care about a professional engineering designation? And that is a very good question to ask. Well, you might not care, but there are a couple reasons you might. Well, you'd be correct in saying that the designation carries more weight in fields like civil engineering as opposed to software or hardware. There are instances in hardware development where clients may ask for a licensed engineer to sign off on something despite it not being a specific requirement. In software development, this is a less likely scenario to find yourself in, though if you're developing software that falls within the practice of professional engineering, you may be required to hold or work under someone who holds a PEng license. This includes software controlling things like elevators, reactors, or any software that may pose a risk to life, health, or public welfare, as defined by Professional Engineers Ontario. And I'll link to their illegal practice FAQ page in the description where this is mentioned. Furthermore, I am of the belief that some domains of software development, such as machine or artificial intelligence, are dangerously underregulated sectors, which may face some heavy reform in the future. This is, however, just my opinion and not something to make a decision based on. And this leads us perfectly into the next topic. Number 2. An engineering degree provides you with a broader knowledge base. While holding a PEng alone already puts you at an advantage over someone who doesn't hold a PEng, the additional engineering background shows a strong foundation in things other than software development, such as an engineering mindset, and is a substantial base to build on top of to better understand the industries you hope to impact. This, coupled with the moral and ethical understanding of a PEng designation, makes an amazing candidate for not only development positions, but positions above development in things such as leadership or management. Number 3. You get an iron ring upon graduation and to participate in engineering frosh. You may be wondering why I've grouped these two together, but there's good reason for this grouping. Both points hold a significant amount of grounding in engineering pride and community. While your iron ring doesn't necessarily hold any significant power on its own, it signifies the moral and ethical obligation that we as engineers have to society. This is something that I did not fully understand until getting exposed to engineering history and tradition within Frosh Week, and ever since I've been proud to call myself an engineering student. This isn't even to mention the significant difference in orientation experience between engineering programs and their arts and science counterparts. In engineering, there are activities spread throughout a whole week meant to introduce you to the engineering community, history, and traditions, while in arts and science, the orientation doesn't even compare. I speak from the perspective of an engineering student at the University of Toronto, but these same trends can be found fairly commonly across all of Canada, where it's evident that engineering pride is strong. 4. The support systems in engineering are vastly superior to those in arts and science programs. The Faculty of Engineering tends to be a relatively small branch as compared to its non-engineering counterparts. This allows resources to more directly impact a larger portion of the community. Additionally, engineering programs tend to be more structured in terms of program requirements due to the restrictions in place by the Canada Engineering Accreditation Board in the case of Canadian universities. This further improves the effectiveness of resource deployment, as mentorship and tutoring programs can be more easily applicable to a greater number of students without requiring as much time on the side of the mentor or tutor. Number 5, and this one is specific to the University of Toronto. Lingering toxicity of post-requirements. Up until last year at the University of Toronto, CS applicants had to pass post-requirements in their first year in order to continue as a CS major. For those that are unfamiliar with what post-requirements are, essentially only a certain portion of accepted CS applicants would be allowed to continue as a CS major, while those that didn't make the cut would have to pick a different major. This cutoff was determined by the first year marks of CS applicants, and as such it could be unfavorable for students to assist each other, while the engineering community is one of the most collaborative communities I've had the pleasure of being part of. Now, it is worth noting that this is no longer part of U of T's program, and as such this point will be less and less relevant as this video ages. For the time being, this process is still in the mind of many CS students, which could lead to a reduced willingness for upper years to help out. That's it for my list. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you're able to find something here helpful. As always, leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them.